those stronger winds are. So things are slowly getting better for you in reform, but going downhill in Gordo, Buell area back toward Coker, eventually down Highway 82 into Tuscaloosa area. Northport, we'll see these storms coming on in. So let's give you a time frame of when they'll get into the Tuscaloosa area now. And we'll show you that these storms kind of building up through Gordo there, and then marching its way here off to the east pretty quickly. We'll take it over towards, let's see, Pleasant Grove around 12:03, Samantha 12:08, Wyndham Springs 12:10, Buell around 12:10, Coker around 12:14, and over toward Three Forks there around 12:17. So likely closer to 12:30, close to it there, getting over toward the Tuscaloosa area. So we have about 30 minutes there again until that line gets in toward Tuscaloosa, and you can see that line building farther to the south here in Aliceville, heading over eventually toward Utah. You still have some time till it gets over toward your area. That line, same segment here, bringing you over in toward parts there of the Utah area as well. Let's go ahead and show you, gets over towards, say, let's see, the Clinton area there around 12:04, Snotty around 12:07, Boligi around 12:08, Utah 12:13, Foster's around 12:16, Akron around 12:20 as that line continues to build farther off to the east, roughly about 55, 60 miles per hour here. So continuing to watch these storms building on in. Jacob, we continue to watch it. It seems like it's taking forever here, but they're still moving at a pretty good clip. But at this point, we just have those severe thunderstorm warnings continuing for parts there of northwestern Alabama.
Yeah, Dave, and monitoring the chat here, we're really not seeing any new reports coming out that are significant than what we had already mentioned earlier. Several downed trees coming in behind this line of storms. Of course, the soil is very soft right now, so it's not taking a whole lot of wind to topple some of these trees. And I mentioned it at the top of the coverage earlier that if you live maybe surrounded by a lot of trees in your yard, then it might be a good idea to, try to move to the most center part of your home and maybe sleep there for tonight, or pick a part of your home that might be furthest away from the trees if that is possible, because if you're not going to stay up with us and track the storms and you would like to go to bed, that is still going to be a threat even while you're sleeping tonight. And it is a threat even before the storms arrive, because we've been seeing some downed trees and even a few power line reports before the main line was moving through. That's just because the winds outside of these storms are so gusty, anywhere between 30 to 40 miles per hour, which is certainly enough to topple some of these trees with a very soft soil like we have. And also want to mention in particular, Tuscaloosa. I know that the Strip is probably quite active at this time of the night. It's a Saturday night, and it's around midnight, and many of those bars there do not close until around 2, 3, 4 o'clock in the morning. So could be quite a few people caught in these storms in Tuscaloosa here in the next 30 to 45 minutes. So maybe if you have a few kids that could be down there tonight, maybe want to text them and let them know that they need to be indoors and not walking around outside when these storms push through. There's a lot of thunder and lightning, so other risks other than the possibility of a quick or brief tornado or any of those trees falling from the gusty winds. So lightning also going to be a concern tonight as well. So that was just a thought that had come to mind with it being a Saturday night and at this time, that there might be quite a few people kind of caught off guard in the Tuscaloosa area when these storms push through. So if you know anyone that might be out and about in Tuscaloosa tonight, be sure to send them a notification. I'm sure they're seeing the weather alerts from the severe thunderstorm warning. So just to make sure that we are communicating as best as we can in events like this, it can be life-saving sometimes.
That's right. We're going to keep a close eye on those storms. They enter Tuscaloosa here in the next, say, 30 minutes. Jackie, I don't know if you get in the back there can eventually kind of do a double box in just a little bit here, if it's possible, showing us and then again the camera there in Tuscaloosa, just to keep an eye on that as the storms come in. But that's going to be here, as Jacob was just saying, in the next, say, 30 minutes. And a lot of students are probably out on this Saturday night. Something definitely to watch and be careful of as you're going to be out and about there throughout the night tonight as the storms come in. Now, once they pass through, again, the weather will improve, but still could produce some pretty rough and gusty winds across those areas there. So the severe thunderstorm warnings continue there across, really from Huntsville all the way through Coleman, Jasper, into Tuscaloosa area, heading back there to parts there of the Utah area and back into Sumter County. No longer tornado warnings in Mississippi. You can see that line has just about cleared the area there now and continuing to build its way back further toward Hattiesburg. And if you look further down the line, they haven't had too many severe thunderstorm warnings warnings down there in parts there of South Mississippi, which is really good, I guess. That's a good thing here. But still see some active warnings working its way into central Alabama, and that's what we're going to continue watching here throughout the night. We've been advertising for days. We're under weather alert today because we have the threat for damaging winds. We've already seen a number of reports of trees down and some damage in parts of Fayette County, heading back into Marion County as well. Potential it does exist for this to continue throughout the night for the rest of central Alabama. So that's why here in Birmingham, where we're still about an hour or so away from the storms coming in, just get ready. If you're trying to go to bed, if you're watching us here, we're continuing to watch here and see as the storms come closer in toward Jefferson County here, what they're going to bring us here at this point. But right now you can see there live look in Tuscaloosa, a few raindrops on the camera lens, some wet roads, but nothing significant yet. The storm's not quite to Tuscaloosa, but again, we are talking here in just a short period of time. Let me go ahead and give you an approximation of when we'll start to see these storms coming on in toward Tuscaloosa now. Give you an idea here as they build in here from the west, of course, and again, they're moving pretty quickly. So with that in mind, it brings us in here toward very basically Tuscaloosa Airport around 12:18 there, over toward Northport around 12:19, City of Tuscaloosa 12:21. There's the Strip. We have 12:21 too right on campus there, or just off campus, I should say. So we're talking 13, 14, 15 minutes until the storms come into the Tuscaloosa area there. So we'll keep an eye on the camera as well as those move in. Haven't seen a lot of lightning in that camera shot either, which is good. But we still have quite a bit of lightning with the storms as they move on in. Not as much as they had earlier back into Mississippi. Remember back there, that's where the ingredients were a little better and more favorable for severe weather out there. We still have them here, but it's also, again, remember, after midnight tonight. So now we're talking Sunday morning here, and with that, again, the overnight hours versus the afternoon hours, you don't have as much heating in the day. It's still warm, it's still humid out there, and quite breezy too. Winds have been gusting here at times around 20, 30 or so miles per hour here at Birmingham, even at the Metro or the International Airport. So we're still looking at, again, as the line comes in, enough fuel and instability here to allow the storms to continue, with mainly that damaging wind threat. That's why we up that to a high chance of seeing that, and we've already seen that in Marion County. We've already seen it in parts there of Fayette County as well, likely parts of Lamar, and maybe even to parts there of Winston County. As the storms have moved through Fayette now, and are now working the way on in toward parts there of northern Tuscaloosa County and now western Walker County here, but continuing to watch these storms. They come in here from Oakman back toward Jasper. You're next to get these in about the next 5 to 10 minutes, as you'll see those gusty winds coming on in toward your area as well too. As you go farther south here, still watching all these storms, and again, we keep an eye out for these potential here for maybe some rotation with some of them, and really haven't seen much. We've seen some stronger winds coming through Berry and heading to parts there of Walker County, the far western part of Walker County here along I-22 up near Carbon Hill area. Again, 60, 70 mile per hour winds, not out of the question with that. Farther down the line you go here, we're still watching those storms. Again, potential, so have to watch to see for maybe some rotation with this, but at this point not seeing anything too significant. Again, the brighter red you see here to the north, and that's the stronger winds. The little darker colors here, winds are not as strong. Just to give you an idea, again, these are aloft, but nonetheless, though, continue to give you the 27 there, heading to 36 just along Highway 82, and you get up toward Berry and Oakman, and you can see 60 mile per hour winds. So big difference there. That's stronger winds right now look to be farther up here across part of Walker County into Fayette counties and heading into parts there of Winston counties. So again, continuing to watch some of these. Haven't seen anything yet that kind of catches our eye that says we need to worry more about a potential tornado. And when we have this is where our shear, the strongest shear is, or winds would be. And you can see that line kind of moving on in, real skinny, not quite as dark green as it once was. We had the kind of more of the higher shear coming in earlier, and you see parts of it have it, but not as much the whole line like it did a little bit a while ago. But still watching again to see here if we can get some of these storms to try to get a little bit stronger, especially the far southern storms at this point, watching them coming up toward the Utah area now. This is northern part of Greene County, heading into parts there of Pickens County and into Tuscaloosa County. Again, not seeing anything. If you notice the Tuscaloosa camera now, just notice a couple frames just been shaking back and forth a little bit. These are winds out ahead of the storms. These are called gradient winds. And again, they've been pretty strong at times as well with that whole system. And you see a little lightning finally showing up there as well, too, as that line builds its way closer toward Tuscaloosa now. And again, we've seen here, again, northern Utah area, I should say Greene County, north of Utah, north of Interstate 5920. Again, that's where the bigger storms continue to build in. But as they close on in, ooh, look at that one. Bright lightning bolt there you saw there in Tuscaloosa. So the storms, again, getting closer, getting that little warning like, hey, something's coming here, T-Town. So get ready for that as it builds into your area. Some of that heavy rain coming on in, and a lot of lightning starting to show up as well, too, with those storms they build into Tuscaloosa. Back over toward Double Springs, again, you still see some heavy rain, eventually moving on toward the Coleman area, too. But really back here into Walker County, starting to show again as you get closer in toward Oakman and Jasper. Watching that, maybe leaving some of the small hail, the intense rain coming down. This is not a prolonged rain event like we had just the other day, so that's at least good news. But we still have, again, some heavy rain coming on down here. And again, some of the stronger winds we've seen actually tied in with this as well, too. Building on in there toward the Corona area, though, heading back toward Coal Valley, Hubbard. Heading further, here's I-22, Oak Hill area, not quite getting in the worst of it yet, but still starting to see some of those storms continue to come in. Again, we've been watching to see for little areas to try to spin up along the line here, and sometimes that can happen, and sometimes when they do, they're really quick to do so. And so you notice here, again, some of the brighter colors here of the reds. That's where you have some of those stronger winds we were showing you earlier, saying close to 60, 70 miles per hour potentially with those as well, too. But still looking at overall, though, again, there's stronger winds coming on in. Jacob, have you seen any more reports, though, recently here of any more wind damage? I know we had some closer toward the Fade area potentially there as well, too.
Yeah, Dave, we are getting confirmation that these storms are producing straight-line wind damage. The reports are slow to come in. The pictures on social media are slow to come in. I have not personally seen some of these pictures yet, but that's what they're saying from the National Weather Service in Birmingham, that these storms are producing damage, straight-line wind damage, not tornado damage. We have not seen any reports of that yet. And so that is just something to keep in mind, that we can show you the storm reports here and see exactly, let's see, storm reports right back here, and we're just not really seeing a whole lot of those reports. There's the reports back in Mississippi. You see a couple of wind reports there just north of Greenville, a couple of down trees there just southwest of Starkville, up around Tupelo. Otherwise, it doesn't really have the look of a widespread damaging line of storms. Again, it really didn't really get its act together until it really moved into the state of Mississippi. But I would argue that the line was probably at its strongest point when it was crossing into Alabama, and we're seeing it kind of perk up and then it dies off a little bit right now. So it's not consistently holding the same strength, which means it's unpredictable, and that means that there's some scans that comes in, it looks awfully intense, and then the next scan it doesn't look nearly as bad, and it looks like something that we can manage. Otherwise, yeah, we're seeing that report of a tree blown down onto a house. This is in Fayette County on 11th Street in Fayette. Now, the time of this report was around 11:43. So this is around 1 mile south of Fayette, Alabama. There's reports of damage there. We're seeing trees and power lines down along County Road 87. This would be up in portions of Fayette County as well, closer to the Hubbardsville. That was one of the communities that we were talking about earlier. They're about 4 miles west-northwest of Hubbardsville. We've got that damage report. A tree was snapped and then fell onto a car along County Road 10 near Millport. This was in Lamar County. That was around 11:30. And if we go up here closer to the Hackleburg area, just west of Haleyville, trees down in the Bear Creek area. That was one of the reports that I know we had mentioned here. That was around 11:30. So the reports, they're coming in. They are slow. But based on this, Dave, it looks like we're seeing a little bit more in the way of reports in Alabama than we are really from Mississippi just about all evening long.
That's right. And watching now closely here, Jacob, a storm kind of northern Greene County as it works its way here close to Tuscaloosa, starting to see a little more in the way of that rotation that we watch to see for potential showing up here. And it's likely we're going to see maybe a tornado warning here issued shortly from the Weather Service with some of these storms that continue to build in, kind of coming in here. So we do have, again, severe thunderstorm warnings currently up across the area, but we're watching this area here, northern Greene County, starting to see again a little more of a potential rotation coming on in, kind of not too far away there from the Tuscaloosa Greene County lines. Watching this one here as we go forward as it builds on in, bringing us the threat there. Let me go ahead and look at the radar with this one right now too, and you can see here we're going to continue watching that storm as it moves in here. Again, this area here, we do have that severe thunderstorm warning until 12:45 in Greene County, but that right along there, starting to see some interesting looks to the line as it gets close north of Utah and kind of just north its way here across part of the area. You can see though, looking at that Tuscaloosa camera, a lot more lightning starting to show up as those storms build closer in toward T-Town at this point. But you can see farther to the south here, we do have again new tornado warning there. It is Greene County now showing up. There's the new tornado warning coming in here. We're talking about further to the west here. This point, this goes till 1 o'clock in the morning. As we go forward here, you can see here we are talking those lines, storms coming in from York to Livingston back there in Sumter County and then heading to northern part of Greene County. Continue to watch that line, so I'm starting to see a little more in the way of some rotation. There it is, back here off not too far away from Boyd area and back over toward over toward the Scratch Hill area too. This is just in Winston County, or I should say in Sumter County, but it is going to be working its way into our northern part there of Greene County. So we do have a new tornado warning now in effect here to 1 o'clock in the morning for Greene County. We'll be watching this one as it works its way potentially here farther off there to the east. We'll have to see how this is, but this is the storm we're continuing to watch right here, kind of building on in. Let me go up here. This is the same one that came out of Mississippi recently, not too far from Livingston. So if those areas just kind of outside our viewing area, but if you know someone who's over there at western Alabama, again, that's we're watching that storm coming on in, and we want to be in a safe place immediately here too with that as it builds its way toward Boyd area, heading right along 5920, the circulation center. There's actually two of them we're keeping an eye on. The area we're watching for possibility of some rotation with these, and you can see here on the radar, it does show that again, this would be embedded more or less within this here. Again, some kind of a messy look to the line here as it moves in further there from the Mississippi area. But there's that new tornado warning. It goes to 1 o'clock. So it does include the Livingston area. It would include here northern parts of Greene County as well. So we'll continue to watch that. If you're watching the Forkland area there too, need to take shelter as the storm is expected to continue moving further off into parts of your area. I should say southern part of Greene County. As you go toward Utah, though, that line of storms continue to build in. It's building into Tuscaloosa now. A lot of lightning coming on in. We were watching, again, maybe some small little rotation with some of these as well through the region here. And you'll see here that we've seen some strong convergence there, the red and green coming together. That's where some stronger winds have been expected to work their way through the area. With that in mind, you can see here these potential winds not too far away, 56 miles per hour north of Utah there, around 50-mile-per-hour winds. Again, they're aloft, and they'll kind of go down a little bit in speed, but nonetheless, we still have to continue to watch these as they build closer in toward Tuscaloosa. But down the line farther here, that's where we've seen, again, that rotation coming on into these storms farther to the west here, and that's where we've seen that, again, potential does exist, though, for, again, maybe a few of those storms trying to produce a tornado as they work their way toward the Livingston area at this hour here. At this point, still starting to see, again, that's where we've seen some of that stronger wind shear coming in through that region too, but really haven't seen anything in the way of debris. That's just some kind of messy looking with the radar right now here, but that is where we do have that new tornado warning. It does include parts of southern part there of Greene County. So northern part of Greene County is Utah. You're not in the tornado warning. You just have that severe thunderstorm warning that goes until 12:45. But the southern part here of Greene County, that is where we do have, again, the tornado warning till 1 o'clock in the morning. So right now it's about 12:19 our current time, and that's for that storms coming right through parts there of Livingston now back into Sumter County as they continue to build their way on in toward that location there. That goes goes until, again, 1 o'clock, but still we're starting to see that. We're going to watch that track. Could take its way here on into the Greensboro area if that holds together. So go ahead and give us a little track on this one and show you what we have with this thing here. And again, it's moving fairly quickly at this point, still about 60 miles per hour. So with that, we take it here over toward the Bolaji right now. So if you're watching us there, you need to take shelter right now. Braggville area, as well as Tishabee area, Demopolis there, 12:29, 12:26 time frame here. That's where the storm's moving in. Could get to Forkland around 12:34 and Cedarville around 12:10 a.m. That is where that tornado warned storm continues to work its way through. If you're watching this, you need to be in a safe place. If you're in this area, at lowest level of your home, away from windows. Again, we're talking about potential tornado coming on in right now through parts there as we go on into Sumter County on the southern part of Greene County right now with that storm as it moves in closer to Livingston at this point. It looks like it's about right over top of Livingston now. So if you're watching us from out there, that's where we have some of that rotation coming on in. And will continue its way here farther off to the east here, crossing over the course of the Tenn-Tom Waterway and into Greene County there, and then continuing its way to eventually possibly toward Forkland area. So again, watching that avenue right there across part there of Livingston. So here's Interstate 5920, Highway 11 coming in through there as well too. And again, that's where we've seen some of that rotation. Not quite as impressive as it was a few scans ago, but still have to potentially see the storm may be pulsing up, it may die back down and try to pulse back up again. So we'll continue to watch that to show you. But again, if you're in the Livingston area, though, that's where it's located, and then it's heading its way to parts there of southern Greene County with this tornado warning as it continues to move on in through those areas, crossing close to the Tom Bigby Waterway there, eventually kind of just not too far away from the Demopolis, kind of just north of Demopolis. Back here to the north, though, we do have, again, still watching this storm here. This is the new tornado warning for Hale County, just coming on in now. This one just been issued here. There's also till 1 o'clock there in the morning now. That is for the storm coming into Moundville. We were watching this earlier, kind of just south of Tuscaloosa, and so we have this now. So here we have Tuscaloosa here to the north, just to the south there. That is the storms we were watching earlier, showing again some of that rotation right along that line. Little spin-ups though, and that potentially is going to come into Moundville. So if you're watching us there down in Moundville, Highway 69 area, down 5920, we do have a new tornado warning, this one going until 1 o'clock in the morning. So this one's going to go for another roughly 38 minutes here. This one continues to work its way through northern parts there of both Greene County here. You can see northern Greene County. This is a separate tornado warning from the one I was just talking about. This is north of Utah, and then heading to parts of northern Hale County and also encompassing parts of southern Tuscaloosa County. These all go until 1 o'clock here in the morning. So again, these are all, again, that one storm here, kind of watching this area right in through here with that rotation potential here with the storm. So showing you what it looks like here, again, trying to see if there's some stronger wind shear tied in right where they're with that as well too. And I haven't seen anything yet quite. This is not what we're looking at here, but see if there potentially is a tornado tied in with this one. And it's kind of one of these little edges, little hooks, if you will, trying to develop along the line, kind of giving you an idea what it would look like. The line coming down like this, making a little hook there and going back down, and it's these little hook areas. That's where we watch for a possibility of maybe some tornadoes developing, and that's what we're continuing to watch here as it works its way here out of parts there of Greene and heading into parts there of Hale County and Tuscaloosa counties. Again, this one going until 1 o'clock in the morning. So tracking it out here for you here, this is not a very large tornado warning, but nonetheless, those still moving at a fairly good clip here, and we'll take it out here towards, say, the Ralph area right now. If you're watching us there, being a safe place, Sylvan, 1228, Moundville, 1234, Cypress, 1235, Hull around 1236, Maxwell at 1237, Duncanville and Hagler, 1242, 1251, respectively for you, too. So take shelter right now immediately at lowest level of your home. Again, interior room, closet, bathroom, basement, that's the best place to be here as the storm moves just south of the Tuscaloosa area. Tuscaloosa about to get some heavy thunderstorms and strong winds coming in, but it's just down to the south of there. That is where we do have that tornado warning right along this line here. A little bit of a spin up has developed here, and that's what we're continuing to see here with that. Again, we do have some of that rotation starting to show up. A couple spots here trying to develop along the line, and typically this is how these squall lines work. We see there's developing potential for some rotation with them. They may not be very long-lived tornadoes, but still nonetheless, though, still can produce maybe some damage with them as well, too. Again, if you're watching us right over toward the Ralph area, Knoxville area, that is where we do have that rotation. Jacob, I don't know if you've seen any new updates on this, but again, that's where some of the spin-ups we've seen right along this line here, kind of more or less converging, starting to see that kind of wrapping around that center is where we're going to be looking at for possibility of that tornado.
Yeah, Dave, taking another look at it here on my radar and just kind of trying to find that most center point of circulation, and that's exactly what we're trying to find here to show you where the best winds are converging at. Now, they are happening all over the line, and some of them are strong enough to where we can pick that up on radar, and most of the time they're not strong enough to really notice it at all. But this is one of those that has got the look, but it's not really that impressive. Nonetheless, the National Weather Service thinks that with that location from the radar site, with this being in a radar hole, along with the Greene County storm south of it, both of these, we're not really getting the best radar imagery of what the storms look like. So we're trying to play it more conservative and play it safe, and that's what they're doing here. There's no reports of any tornadoes on the ground with either of these storms yet, but just because of their proximity from the radar site is so far away, we're not getting the cleanest radar image compared to what we were seeing earlier when we were using Columbus to look at those storms coming into Marion and Lamar County. Now, zooming in here to that the tornado warning for Tuscaloosa County. This is extreme southern Tuscaloosa County here. So the Ralph area, that center of circulation just passed, and I'm circling this area here. That's kind of what we're watching, and it does seem to be in a more easterly direction, kind of east-northeast a little bit, so there is somewhat of a northerly component. So this is going to go south of Tuscaloosa proper. This would be moving across Highway 69 and eventually Highway 6 around the Maxwell, Hull, and Duncanville area. So those areas need to be in their safe place immediately. Again, that polygon extending into portions of Hale County there too. Moundville down towards Cypress and Phipps. You guys also need to be in your shelter. These storms can always take a turn at any moment. Now, with this being associated with a line of storms, the odds of that are much lower. So typically, whatever direction it's moving in is going to be the direction that it continues to move in. So that's why I feel more confident to name out communities like Maxwell, Hull, Duncanville. It's going to be the areas in this northern part of the warning that I think need to be on guard over the next 20 minutes or so until we can get this circulation to continue pushing off towards the east. Towards the south, again, we have that other tornado warning here in portions of Greene County, and the National Weather Service, I was reading up on the chat, also playing that one safe. Just with the storm structure and the way that it looks on radar, we're not getting the cleanest imagery, but with that far proximity away from Birmingham's radar site and with it having somewhat of that look, they felt better to go ahead and put a warning on that. So areas like Forkland and over towards Bird Eye, Tashabi, Brownstown, Belmont, that's the areas that we're watching for this area of rotation to eventually move into. And again, these storms are moving very fast. And so the warning time for some of you is ample, it's enough. And for others, it's only a couple of minutes or less. So that's why everyone needs to already have a safe place in mind, be close to that safe place when these storms pass through, because you know, one scan, these storms don't look very tornadic, and the next scan they do, and you need to be seeking shelter. So go ahead, if you live in Birmingham, if you live down I-65 towards Clanton, you're still not seeing any lightning yet. It's breezy, it's warm, it feels like a summer night, but these storms are on your way, and you still have some time to prepare. So definitely don't take that time for granted. Because you're going to wish you had it if you end up having a tornado warning issued and you're scrambling to get everything together and get everyone to the safe place. So we're watching these two storms very closely, and we're going to continue to see storms of this nature throughout the rest of tonight.
That's right, Jacob. We're watching, looking at all these storms that are moving on in, and also bringing us, again, the threats of a few of those tornadoes. Kind of looking here, we do have multiple tornado warnings coming on in, parts thereof into Sumter County, into southern part of Greene County now, as you get toward Forkland, but watching this area of rotation coming out of Livingston, and then here, northern part of Greene County and heading its way on in toward northern part of, say, into Hale County, as well as in the southern Tuscaloosa County near Moundville. We've seen, again, that line of storms coming on in and potentially producing maybe a tornado there. You can see on the radar intense storms coming into Tuscaloosa right now. So those storms continue to build that way. There's that tornado, again, possible tornado south of there. Just now issued here for Blount and Jefferson counties, new severe thunderstorm warnings until 1:45 for both counties here, as that line is kind of working its way closer to both of our county lines. Coleman County, we do have a new severe thunderstorm warning now issued for due until 12:45. Again, that line moving in. If you're watching us from Fayette area, Double Springs, Hamilton area, back to Gouin, Sulligent, the severe threat is over for you. You don't have to worry about it. You still have some rain coming in, but the intense line of storms you see here now working its way on in toward closer to Birmingham, as we're now at 12:30 in the morning here, kind of anticipated at close to 1 a.m., and we'll be pretty close to 1:30 or so as it works its way into the area. But as you go down into Tuscaloosa, that's we do again have that line of storms coming in. Big takeaway from this, there has been a number of reports of straight line wind damage with this back here across the Fayette area, back toward northern Pickens County, Lamar County, heading back into Marion County as well. So keep in mind, these storms are coming in. They don't all necessarily have tornado warnings with them, but they are producing straight line damaging winds. A number of tree reports down, and of course it's nighttime, so it's taking a little longer to get those reports in, but Weather Service is getting those reports in. So just be prepared for those here coming on in toward Tuscaloosa for trees and power lines to go down. Jasper area, Coleman, through the Birmingham Metro area, through Hoover, Alabaster, Calera, eventually Shelby County, back down toward Brent and Vance area. We're expecting these storms to produce some really strong winds as they come in. So we're likely going to see that power outage map here in the next, say, hour really ramping up again, and potentially a lot of more damage reports coming in as well, too. So again, here's our line coming in from the Coleman area as it works its way just now past Jasper, closing in on Summerton now. Let's go ahead and see if I can see here on our Summerton camera what this looks like here, but you can see right now it doesn't look too bad. The camera bouncing around a little bit with some of the wind, some raindrops on the camera lens, but we're going to start seeing in. This is looking off to the east, by the way. The storms are coming in behind the camera, so we will start to see that change just a little bit there. And then going over toward Tuscaloosa now, the storms are right over top of Tuscaloosa as we speak here, and you can barely see. There we go. Again, the other side will have that there for you, but again, looking pretty intense as this line of storms moves into Tuscaloosa. You can actually kind of see the winds blowing around too over there, and again, visibility is dropping quite a bit. So if you're watching us Tuscaloosa, please be inside. For anyone to be out and about, trying to go out in the town, the strip, not the time to be out there. Let the storms pass through the area. It is just now entering Tuscaloosa as we speak now. We'll continue to do so here as it moves into Tuscaloosa the proper, back toward Northport here, heading over toward Devondale, eventually Cottonwood. Intense rain coming in back toward Northport there. There's the Michelin plant, Highway 82 toward Coker, Romulus area, Foster, as you can see, pretty heavy rain coming on in. And just looking at that camera lens, you can see again the rain is blowing around the camera there. So we'll watch it. We'll have to see if there's any flashes there, maybe some power outages starting to come in too. Just south of that again, that is where we've seen again overall though that tornado warning going into effect here for these storms kind of moving just south of Tuscaloosa now. This one kind of working its way on in toward the south near the Knoxville area. I'll go ahead and switch this over to velocity and kind of show you where we were watching here with the storms as they build their way closer to you. So Moundville, the storms are right over top of you. You need to be in your safe place right now as we have that tornado warning still in effect again for those storms as they work their way basically here off to the east right now and eventually heading the way further on into southern part there of Tuscaloosa County and continuing that track there. Again, another vantage point here where the Moundville areas, that's where we've seen that rotation with these storms as they continue to build their way in toward that area. Go back out here a little bit and show you that is the one, again, area we're watching. The other one down here kind of working its way closer to Forkland, coming out of Sumter County, heading into parts there of southern Greene County. That rotation building on in closer toward the Demopolis area, heading toward Forkland. And so southern part there, Greene County, going to need to be in a safe place as well, too. Some strong winds tied in here with this as a potential tornado kind of working the way on in through that area there, too. Let me go ahead and look at the wind shear right now. And again, that's where we're starting to see that there, that one tornado warning there with that wind shear. And again, right over top of Moundville, that's where, again, we've seen some of that stronger winds coming on in. And that's where we do have the potential for some rotation. We do have the rotation and also possibility of a tornado there as well, too. Going back over to where the velocity area kind of coming in, that's where we do have the strong winds. Take a look at this. These are still elevated, but we have winds there 75, maybe up to 75-mile-per-hour winds coming in. Look at the Tuscaloosa camera right now. You can barely see. That's coming from the hospital. They are pointing back toward campus right now, and that's some intense heavy rain. This is what we can expect as this gets into the Birmingham area when that line moves on in. How strong that rain's going to be, how strong those winds are going to be here. That's going to be moving fairly quickly, as you see there, but nonetheless, though, will cause some problems for you here. And again, in Tuscaloosa, we're seeing just the strong winds. That tornado threat is farther to the south here as it works its way here further over toward the area there to the east right now. So again, you can see where Moundville is. It's right along there, that leading edge. That's where potentially we do have, again, a possibility of tornado. And then that second one coming on in further down toward Demopolis right now, a little bit further to the south of us here, watching this tornado warning right here, this area near Forkland. So if you're watching us in Forkland, it is moving toward your direction here. These aren't clear-cut typical springtime tornadoes yet. We're still in the month of February. We get these squall line of thunderstorms coming in, squall line being a line of severe thunderstorms, and you see these little waves here as that happens. Sometimes we can get little rotations starting to show up there, and that's what we're looking at here across part there of southern Greene County. So Forkland area back down to Demopolis need to be in your safe place right now with this storm as it continues to move off to the east. Could work its way into parts there of southern part, or into Perry County now, into parts there of Hale County as well, too. We're continuing to watch this one. Up there near the Utah area, heavy rain continues to fall. You're not in the tornado warning here in the Utah area, but as you go just to the north again, we're seeing that in Moundville. If you're watching us there, again, that's where you need to be in your safe place as well with that tornado warning continuing here until 1 o'clock. So we're at 12:36 right now. Tracking that out here again for just that part of the tornado warning as it moves off here to the east fairly quickly. Again, still we're talking about 50, 55 miles per hour or so. Bringing it on in toward Duncansville area around 12:43. Hagler 12:52. Harmon at 12:56. Stewart Settlement there. Belcher's at 12:57. Over toward Spencer there at 1 a.m. Over toward Choctaw Hills at 1:01. Scottsville area there around 1:01 as well, and same for Lucille. So again, need to be in your safe place if you're in those towns. That potential tornado is heading your direction here. Again, currently near the Moundville area. And again, just the leading edge of the storm as it moves on in. Back into Tuscaloosa, again, you can see in the video there, just on the side, though, how intense that rain is. Basically, it looks like almost whiteout conditions with that intense rain coming on down in Tuscaloosa now. Not the time to be out and about. Hopefully, everyone who is downtown on the Strip or wherever is inside in a safe place and not dealing with that as those winds come on in. So this is a sign of things to come here in Birmingham in the next hour, so be prepared for that as it moves in. And that, again, to the south here, again, that potential tornado warning continues as well, too. Again, the storm coming through Moundville right now, again, still has some of that rotation. Let me go ahead and look at this now, and you can see, again, strong winds coming on in right past the Moundville area here, too. Again, not clear-cut, not perfect look to this, but we're still seeing that convergence coming in, and their storms continue to build their way into the south as well, too. South of there, again, we still have the severe thunderstorm warning for Hale County. This goes till 1:30 in the morning now, but that tornado warning here, again, parts of northern Hale County goes until 1 o'clock in the morning. So that is that line coming on in where that convergence line is and heading further to the south. So, Jacob, have you seen any more reports from this tornado warning, any kind of damage or anything coming in?
I am not seeing any reports from specifically the tornado warnings down there. Both the National Weather Service is confirming that they have not seen any indications that either of those circulations have dropped a tornado yet. So that's good, but nonetheless, the threat remains. I do want to take a moment and emphasize the power outages. We checked on this map earlier, about an hour ago. We have significant power outages across west central Alabama. Over 6,000 customers without power in Walker County, over 3,500 in Tuscaloosa Tuscaloosa County, around 100 in Greene County, over 2,000 in Pickens County, around 1,500 or so there in Lamar County, a little bit less up there for the Hamilton area, so Marion, Winston counties. But we're going to see these numbers ramp up, of course, as the night continues to go on. And another thing that I really want to emphasize, we've been talking about it throughout the night, the soil is very saturated. It is very soft right now. It will not take 80 to 100 mile per hour winds or tornadic winds. Excuse me, I'm losing my voice a little bit here. It will not take a tornado to make a tree fall on your home. It won't take 70 mile per hour winds for a tree to fall on your home. So some of these trees are going to be more vulnerable to falling tonight. It's leading to more power outages. We're already seeing reports of homes on, or of trees on top of people's homes out in west central Alabama. As these storms move into a more densely populated area and with higher elevation, we're going to see that risk increase. I'm talking to you, Birmingham, and areas around Birmingham, points east from there. As the elevation continues to climb, you guys are going to be more susceptible to picking up even higher winds than they've been getting in the lower elevations across western Alabama. So again, power outages are rampant right now where the storms have already moved through. We're continuing to monitor this closely over the next couple of hours, but definitely a significant issue as we go into this night, Dave.
All right, Jacob, yeah, we're continuing to watch this line of severe thunderstorms here stretching its way from Huntsville all the way down there toward Hattiesburg, actually beyond that, all the way back down to Slidell, Louisiana. That entire line is now a severe thunderstorm warnings and a few tornado warnings embedded in it as well, too. Obviously, we've been watching the line as it worked its way through parts there of south of Tuscaloosa. We're watching those rotations with that tornado warning there. So far, no reports of a tornado, nor with the circulation there across part of southern Greene County into parts there of Hale County or Greene counties until 1 a.m. with those storms. So that is some good news. Up here in Coleman, I just want to let you know you've been dealing with the severe thunderstorm warning continuing on in toward Blount County. Take a look here up at the Coleman area, and just to give you an idea what it looks like there with the storms coming on in. As you can see here again, pretty heavy rain, some gusty winds there in the parking lot of the medical center there, and a lot of lightning. And so this is, again, what we're seeing as this storm continues to work its way through the area. Going down towards Summerton right now, here's another vantage point. Looks like we have some emergency vehicle there potentially coming on in parts there of Highway 78 at this point. This is not too far away from the Walmart there in Summerton. A lot of lightning, and see the gusty winds continuing there at this point, and see Tuscaloosa also on the other side. Notice things are improving in Tuscaloosa. You can actually see campus now as the storms have moved past Tuscaloosa now. But nonetheless, though, we're still watching the storms as they continue their way across Alabama. So up in the Coleman area there, heading over toward Hanceville, we're starting to continuing to watch things improve in Coleman, but going downfill, Holly Pond, Hanceville area, seeing those storms continuing to build its way closer to you here in Coleman County, heading down eventually into Blount County now. We'll continue watching that as the storm's kind of moving on in there just to your south. So there you see where Summerton's located, and where the storms continuing to build their way on into toward that area. That is where we're continuing to watch those conditions go downhill for you. And as we follow the line down through Summerton at this point and heading its way down toward Dora and through Cordova, the storms are improving here. Same for you in Jasper and Oakman, but now entering parts there of Jefferson County here, and continuing to bring us some pretty intense rain for those areas there with Jefferson County, Adamsville, Mulga, Pleasant Grove, Hueytown, Bessemer, Hayden, Warrior, Morris, Gardendale. We're talking to you as the storms continue to build a little bit closer to your area there. And you go farther down in, again, watching areas here as you get over toward eventually Brookwood, Lakeview area into Tuscaloosa County. Notice down in Tuscaloosa, things are starting to improve quite a bit there as the strongest storms now moving toward Brookwood area, Coling, and then farther to the south, there's our tornado warning that we had. It's past Moundville now, so if you're watching us in Moundville, in your safe place, you can get out of that. But we still, with intense line here coming on in, still have the tornado warning for these storms as they continue to work their way in, and we still have, again, some of that rotation. We're still watching with that line, kind of where convergence has been here a little bit as well, too. Farther up the line as you get into Jefferson County here, again, we'll be watching to see here for something trying to develop at this point. Nothing to worry about, but we will watch those areas areas to see if maybe one of these little areas try to do a little bit more of some rotation with it. Right now, it seems to be farther to the south has been the best area where we've seen potential for tornadoes. Again, this is that storm we're watching here, basically now off to the east of Moundville. And then our second one we're continuing to watch here in the Forkland. That line is about right along the Tenn-Tom Waterway, north of Demopolis, near Forkland area. That is the storm as it continues to build its way on in toward the area closer to our region. Let me go ahead and switch the radars here real quick and get a better perspective of the velocity there. Again, Demopolis area right there. This is where we're watching that location there, kind of working its way between Forkland and Demopolis. We've seen that rotation building on in, and it's going to cross over the Tenn-Tom Waterway and then work its way continuing here on in toward Hale County. So again, they do have that tornado warning here for another southern Hale County until 1:15. So this is the new tornado warning. It does include a Greensboro area here. That's for this area we're watching there right now, coming just between Forkland and Demopolis. So go ahead and track here for you across southern part there of Hale County, and you can see here takes it over toward Casemore at 12:50, Cedarville at 12:52, Rosemary, New Bern 1 o'clock in the morning to 1:02 in the morning. We'll see that work its way into your area there potentially. So that's where we're watching this area here between Forkland and the Demopolis area. Farther up the line, we have the tornado warning here across part there of southern part of Tuscaloosa County here. It's still showing a little bit of some rotation near the Duncanville area, toward Hagler here, back toward the Phipps area. This is where we're watching. Here's Highway 6 basically coming in, Highway 82 area. So kind of moving its way through those regions there. Going to watch here again. There's been a little bit of some rotation and some spin ups there with that potential here. Although we've not had anything yet, still going to be watching that here pretty closely as we go forward over the next little while here, as we do have some of that little rotation. Let me go ahead and put a track on here and give you an idea of what we're looking at with this one here as it moves on in. Moving here off to the east, if it holds together here, could work its way closer toward the West Blockton area and maybe just even beyond there going forward here. Well, it's not going to want to cooperate for me here, but we are looking at that building on in closer to here. Let me go ahead and try this again with this and show you that, well, maybe not. Come on, there we go. All right, moving on in here to the east pretty quickly. Again, we're still looking here at over 50 miles per hour at times. It just does not want to work tonight, folks, but kind of giving you an idea here what we're talking about. That storm moving on in based on the Highway 82 corridor here as it works its way just south of Colding and south of Vance here. That's where we do have the rotation. So if you're in those areas, that's where you need to take shelter immediately here and into the lowest level of your home, again, away from windows in a safe place and building its way here further off. There we go. Over toward Hagler around 12:51, Little Hope around 12:55, Stewart Settlement there at 12:55 as well. Scottsville at 12:59, West Blockton, really just after 1:01, Lucille as well too, and over towards 6 Mile around 11:12. So that's that area we're watching with that rotation building its way here, potentially close to Bibb County. You're not in the warning, so that's why we're going to watch that and see here how this reacts as it continues. But there is still a little bit there, right along Highway 82, Highway 6 corridor there, kind of just off to the south of Colding with that line. Still building its way toward Forkland. We can see here again, we've seen that rotation continuing, coming in closer toward the Greensboro area. So Greensboro, New Bern, again, if you're watching us in those areas, need to be in your safe place right now. Lowest level of your home, again, away from windows, and again, a bathroom, bathtub, best place to be for those areas with that as well too. As overall though, you can see here, that's that line of storms we're continuing to watch, and it is getting, Jacob, closer and closer toward the Birmingham Metro area now, and you can see we have a number of warnings going on here, mostly severe thunderstorm, but a few of those tornado warnings as well too.
Yeah, Dave, and we do have some breaking news. Unfortunately, out of the Moundville area on 2nd Avenue, a tree is down and we do have people trapped. That's all the information that we have right now. Again, this is 2nd Avenue in Moundville. Again, we were watching that center of circulation pass very close to the Moundville area just shortly ago, just a little bit ago, and now that center of circulation has since passed off towards the east. And that's what Dave was just talking about here around Duncanville. Again, so Moundville just getting the heavy rain right now. The tornado threat, the damaging wind threat is now to their east. But what is left of that storm still maintaining nonetheless enough intensity to warrant that tornado warning to continue there for southeastern Tuscaloosa County and extreme northeastern portions of Hale County. And then also just wanted to point out a very intense pocket of wind heading towards the Lakeview area coming out of Brookwood. This pocket of wind, if I just go back a few scans, it's been holding together. That was originally one of the areas of rotation that we were watching just southwest of Tuscaloosa. Since then, it has definitely gusted out and become more of a damaging wind threat. But out of the line approaching Birmingham and much of the Interstate 65 corridor through Shelby County, that's the most intense portion of the storm that I can find. And we are getting better radar data since this is getting closer to our Birmingham radar site. But just earlier, about 5 minutes ago, it was showing potentially 75 to 85 mile per hour winds not too far off the ground. Of course, as Davis said, with the nature of these storms, a lot of that can easily become mixed down to the surface. You get a lot of this heavy rain, and it will actually pull that wind down to the ground. So this is just another threat for tonight outside of that small tornado threat that we've been monitoring. This is really the primary threat, is all of us getting a good dose of these winds, and it's going to be shortly here coming through Birmingham in the next couple of minutes. I say couple of minutes, more like the next half hour. I'm looking at our camera from our BJCC over downtown Birmingham right now, and it's starting to rain a little bit. The camera's definitely shaking around some, and we're starting to see a bit more of that lightning approaching town as well. Again, I do want to say, just as I said earlier, that there are a lot of downed trees across western Alabama tonight. Areas that did not see the 60-plus mile per hour winds, we're still seeing those downed trees because of how soft the ground is. These storms are now moving into Birmingham, a very densely populated area. If you live in an area that is surrounded by trees, if you still have time, you either need to go stay with someone else, or you need to sleep in the safest portion of your home that is furthest away from any trees at all. This is a very big concern tonight. This was something that we were talking about all day long on CBS 42, was in particular downed trees falling onto people's homes, and you have a way of protecting yourself if you can get ahead of these storms and either go somewhere else, it's also just as safe, or go somewhere inside of your home that is furthest away from some of these trees. I think that is the biggest threat right now for all of us. Obviously, the tornado threat is lower. It's non-zero. We're seeing a few of these warnings from time to time. Thankfully, we're not seeing any reports of any touchdowns in Alabama so far tonight. Any of those touchdowns so far today would have been back in Mississippi. Of course, we've had several tornado warnings here in Alabama over the last couple of hours. None of those have actually verified in terms of there being a tornado reported on the ground. That does not mean that the threat has gone away. That does not mean that if you are under a tornado warning that there will not be a touchdown. That is just what's been happening so far over the last couple of hours. And of course, any of these storms are equally as capable of producing a very brief tornado. And even though it may only be on the ground for a minute, that minute it's on the ground could be impacting you. So that's why we all need to be just as prepared for that to happen. But again, going back to what I was talking about earlier, people trapped there in Moundville on 2nd Avenue. So that is just a testament of exactly the threat that these storms are carrying tonight. And hopefully we don't see anything of that nature over the next couple of hours.
It's right, Jacob. As we continue to track this line coming on in, you can see it live from the BJCC camera there, too. I don't know if we can also take a look at that from time to time, Jackie, the Hoover camera as well, too, there from the Hyatt Regency, kind of giving us a perspective. But you can see there is some light rain already falling here in Birmingham now, and that line continues to inch its way closer in toward the city here. We'll start seeing more of that lightning coming up as well, too, and the cameras as well have to deal with more in the way of that heavy rain coming on in toward the rest of the region here as we go throughout the evening. You can see severe thunderstorm warnings are lining up across much of, if not all, central Alabama at this point now, and still have a few of those tornado warnings, albeit smaller here. Still watching for potential spin-ups there across part of southern part there of Greene County, as well as into southern part of Hale County now. Greensboro, again, we're watching your area for possibility of a tornado, and then continuing its way on in toward the metro area. Also, Bibb County here, again, the storms are coming on in toward your region too, and seeing a couple of these showers building up out ahead of it here, heading toward parts there of Alabaster, Calera area. Nothing significant with those, but Definitely something to keep in mind. We're going to be dealing with some of those showers building on in throughout the region as well, too. So still going to be watching these storms that continue to build in and come closer to us here. And as they do so, they're going to continuing bringing us here again the threat for some damaging winds, trees down, power lines would likely be down in spots as well, too. As Jacob showed you just earlier, we do again have again the threat for those trees to come down. Now that we're getting to more of a metro area, we can see more of that damage starting to build its way into the region as well, too. So we do again have some of these tornado warnings we're still going to keep an eye on here for you. Just give you an idea. We still have this one here. It goes until 1 o'clock for the southern part there of southeastern Tuscaloosa County, as well as into parts there of northern Hale County, again, till 1 o'clock this morning. We've seen some of that still showing again, some of that rotation kind of tied into the area here. Weakening, not near as impressive as it once was, but nonetheless, though, still going to keep an eye out that. Down the line here, again, the stronger winds have been down here south of Greensboro. This is where we do have that other tornado warning. This one going until 1:15 this morning here, and you can see so intense the winds. Now, these are somewhat far away from the radar and elevated, but 76-mile-per-hour winds now. They'll work their way down and be a lower number, but we are going to be dealing with, again, strong damaging winds here, regardless if there is a tornado or not. But it's that area there south of Greensboro we're continuing to watch here for potential here of, again, maybe another tornado trying to develop, and some of that rotation has been showing up too. We have this reds and greens kind of coming together. So giving you an idea here and a little bit of a storm track with this, we'll show you that we are going to watch those storms coming there out near the Greensboro area as we speak, and then working the way here now into parts there, it looks like into Marion as well. Looking at Rosemary, they're around 1257, New Bern at 103, and Marion there at 116. So Marion, of course, they're currently in Perry County, but nonetheless, though, we're still watching their storm. There's a new tornado warning just issued there for Perry County till 1:45. It's for that same storm that's bringing us that warning in Hale County, going there till, again, 1:15 this morning. And right now, it is about just before 1 at 12:55 now. And again, that's the storm we're watching here with that rotation kind of showing up there, giving you an idea. You can see here again, give you some of that shear. That's where we're looking right in through here, kind of making some of an S shape. That's where we look to see here for shear, to see if there's going to be some sort of possibility of a tornado here, and that's where we have it. Now, that's going to work its way out of Hale County into Perry County here and over toward Marion. So if you know someone in Marion, give them the heads up, call them, wake them up, let them know that we again have that storm headed there in their direction as we speak with this as it moves on in. And the northern part of this here, again, it's that wind shear we were watching with that other tornado warning, not near as impressive. But let me zoom out some more here and show you as the storms are coming into Birmingham, still the skinny line here. That's where some of your stronger winds are coming into Aniana now, back over toward Gardendale, Fultondale area, heading toward Hueytown, Bessemer, going over toward their parts of the Mulga area, Ensley, heading to Pleasant Grove, Hueytown, over toward Bessemer eventually here. We're going to see that North Johns, those stronger winds are coming into your area as we speak right now. And you can see here on the radar what that looks like. We are beginning to see that intense line moving on in. It's the leading edge of this is where there's stronger winds have been coming in. You can see some of that lightning there, live look from our Hoover camera right now as it builds in. But we do have, again, those storms continuing to build their way closer and closer to downtown Birmingham here. And as they move on in, we're going to see what we saw there in Tuscaloosa, that intense wind. There's strong downpours coming on in as well, too. And we're likely going to see potentially some number of trees down across the area, possibly leading to some power outages as well, too, as that moves on in there toward Jefferson County. Farther to the south, again, we still have that line moving on in with the potential, therefore, maybe some tornadoes coming just now off to the southeast of Greensboro, heading on in toward Perry County now. And you see here, even farther south, that line continues with more of those severe thunderstorm warnings. Let's go back to the northern part of the line into Aniana now here, and new severe thunderstorm warnings just coming out in effect here for Etowah County till 2 a.m., heading to St. Clair County till 2 a.m. as well, too. So we're still seeing that in Shelby County now, severe thunderstorm warning now until 2 a.m. This just now being issued there for that straight line damaging wind threat across the area, and that's what we're going to be dealing with here as we go into the next couple of hours. And we'll be here with you throughout the night, too. So you're not sleeping, we're not sleeping either, but because we've got a busy night ahead as this line of storms is now just into the middle part of the state. We still have to go all the way here on in toward Georgia before we have to not deal with this anymore. Just to give you a heads up, though, for those back off to the west here, Coleman area, Jasper, Double Springs, Fayette, Tuscaloosa, Reform, Gordo, Carrollton area, back towards Sullivan and in toward Hamilton, you are all free of severe weather. Still have some rain, may have some rumbles of thunder out there, some breezy conditions, but the severe threat has ended for your area, which is good news. So you're not dealing with any more of that severe weather anymore. You're just dealing with some showers and some breezy conditions. The rest of us, though, we still have to deal with this here as the storms are coming into the I-65 corridor now, Gardendale through Fultondale, through Birmingham now, and into closer to Hoover, Bessemer, Vance area, heading back farther toward Brent into Bibb County. You're under that severe thunderstorm warning as well. This goes till 2 o'clock for you. I did not mention that earlier, but it does go for your area as well, too. And again, still have that tornado warning. This one here for this coming, going to continue it here. It goes to, let's see here, 1 o'clock in the morning in Tuscaloosa County, so that's about to expire, though. But that line is now coming on in here, departs there at Bibb County. And after seeing some of that rotation earlier, not seeing as impressive looking with this, but nonetheless, they're still seeing those storms coming on into Bibb County now, and you go farther south here, and that's where we do have, again, that storm with that rotation coming into the southern part there of Hale County, moving on in toward Perry County, and again, that rotation is still showing up here, pretty impressive with that one there. Jacob, you haven't seen any reports of any kind of tornado reports there down there in Hale County, have you?
I have not, but in the New Bern area, they are saying that it is very close to producing a tornado based on what they're seeing with the latest radar imagery. Also, a new report, tree on a house at 101 Northridge Drive in Bluntsville. So this would be up in Blount County. And, of course, the strongest of the storms have just pushed through there. But I can see, yeah, we're watching that area about to enter into Perry County there around New Bern. Eventually, this might be a threat to portions of Chilton County, and then eventually Coosa County. We'll have to continue to monitor that track and see if it turns more towards the north or if it continues on a very eastward track. But I also have the power outages pulled up behind me. We just checked on this about maybe 20 minutes ago, and Tuscaloosa County only had a handful, a few thousand reports. Now over 14,000 people in Tuscaloosa County without power. Walker County, earlier you guys were sitting at around 6,000, now up to 7,500. Reports of no power in Walker County, and of course several other thousands of reports of this across the rest of west central Alabama, extending even up towards Coleman County, where they've got about 3,500 customers without power. So this is going to be a problem that only really exasperates and gets worse throughout the rest of tonight. Certainly a busy night ahead for the power crews, as they're going to be working through some pretty rough weather to try and restore the power to these folks. Of course, turning awfully cold tomorrow, too. So hopefully we can get the power turned back on before it starts to get too chilly tomorrow. But again, that's what we're looking at over here at the Weather Center and continuing to monitor the latest reports coming in. And Dave, I can tell that that Perry County storm is going to be the one to watch at least over the next few minutes.
Yeah, the strong winds are coming on in now to Jefferson, Shelby counties. Again, we need to be ready here for the potential for some trees coming down across the area here. We've seen a number of reports off to the west of us, a good sign of things to come, right? What has it done before? Here's what's going to do now. And as the storm's coming into Metro Birmingham now, again, we're talking intense winds about to come on into our area. Let's kind of zoom on into parts there of the county here. Gardendale, Fultondale, they're coming into your Cunningham area right now as well, too. Headed toward Colberg, Dogtown area. It's moving right over top of you. Mulga, heading back toward the I-22 corridor, getting in some of that. Over towards, say, Sherman Heights, Hobson area, getting in on some of those strong gusty winds as well. Over toward Pleasant Grove, Dolomite, Concord, Hopkins area. Let's go back to Oak Grove, down toward Virginia, Huey. Bessemer, you can see right along here is 5920, right? That's where, again, that line is just about into Ensley, heading right in toward Birmingham, up toward Pratt City, Fultondale. This is where it's moving into toward Midfield soon, over toward Brighton, and eventually over toward, let's see, Glen Hills, and then eventually coming on in toward the McCalla area. We'll be seeing that building on in toward year 2. So there you see North Johns. Again, heavy rain, gusty winds continuing coming in. This is moving its way here eventually toward Bluff Park in the Hoover area too. I'll zoom out a little bit here and kind of give you an idea of what we're looking at here time-wise across the metro area, because this is going to be pretty rough for us here. So go ahead and give you a full look here with this line as it moves on in. Again, still moving fairly quickly. We're talking here still over 55 miles per hour roughly coming on in, and it's going to come on, work with me here. There we go. Pratt City, again, right now, we're toward the Pinson area around 104. Ensley as well. Midfield around 105. Bessemer 105 as well as the updates here come in. Lipscomb 106. Legion Field. BJCC about 107, including the downtown area as well. Heading over toward the Titusville area around 1108. Birmingham Airport right now around 108, I should say, 108 for that time frame. So in the next 5 minutes, it's going to be coming on in right through down to Hoover, Mountain Brook, Homewood area, over towards, say, Inverness area, back toward Pelham and Alabaster coming on in here in the next, say, 5 to 10 minutes for you. We're going to get that coming on in. A strong push of those really gusty winds will be coming on in toward your region, down here through Shelby County, back toward Helena as well. Bluff Park area, there's Bessemer coming in, Hueytown too. West Blockton, you're getting in on some of those really strong winds in Bibb County now, stretching its way about to get into Brent in the next few minutes for you down there in Bibb County. You'll be seeing those coming on in. The line as it goes farther south here again through Greensboro, still some heavy rain, but New Bern area, that's where we've watched that still have that tornado warning in effect for southern part of Hale County and now into parts of Perry County. And again, looking at the velocity with this, that is where we're watching here. Again, still some pretty good rotation tied in with this as it moves in toward now Perry County. So what those in Marion need to take shelter immediately. I know it's just outside our viewing area, but if those can pick us up here, if you have family or friends down there, call them, say, get in your safe place. This is going to be a pretty significant storm coming on in, if no tornado, very strong winds coming into that area there. That's that rotation now. It looks like it's mostly now in Perry County. As it moves on in, that warning going until, again, 1:45 there for Perry County at this point. So no confirmation yet, but its storm has been pretty persistent here with that rotation for a while now. And so that's why we're watching that one very closely. And then coming out there of Hale County, looks like the bulk of that is almost out of the Hale County area at this point. But strong gusty winds you can see there tied in with that storm as it moves its way on in. That line, as we follow it up here to the north again, we're coming right into Metro Birmingham. They have rain coming down here in Red Mountain now, and some of those gusty winds through Gardendale, Fultondale area too, and kind of showing the leading edge of where those gusty winds are, heading the way through Aniana, going there towards Springville. If you're watching us from there, heading up eventually up toward Albertville area and Gunnersville, that's where some of the strongest winds continuing to be, and that's where we do have those severe thunderstorm warnings remaining in effect, though, until about 1:45 to 2 o'clock in the morning for all the metro area. You'll see the downtown BJCC camera there. I'm sure in a matter of minutes we won't be able to see downtown because the rain and wind will be pretty heavy here. Again, the rain's coming down here in Red Mountain right now, but not quite the rain that we're going to see. Same for you in Aniana. It's coming right over top of you at the moment, heading over towards Springville and then going back down to the metro. Again, kind of zooming right into downtown here. This is where we were talking about, right through Homewood, heading back over toward the Ensley area. There you see, again, Pratt City area, Glenview. That's where we do have that heavy rain just now coming on in, basically crossing over 5920. And heading over toward I-65 in downtown, though, we'll see those storms continue to build their way in. Farther to the south, a little more intense, heavy rain, Hueytown. This is now moving into Collins, Brighton area, getting some of that heavy rain. Back over toward Circle Heights, Glen Hills, Pinecrest area, New Village, getting some of that moving on in toward Bon Air area. And then eventually will work its way farther down, closer toward the Hoover area and Bluff Park area. We'll see some of that as it moves on in, close a little bit in. You can see that kind of magenta color starting to show up. That would be very heavy rain, as well as maybe some small hail mixed in with that system as it moves in. So that's where we do have that severe thunderstorm warning going till 1:45 for those areas there in Jefferson County. Farther to the south, again, still watching that. Tuscaloosa, you're looking much better now. That's great news for you here, but you go down in toward West Blockton area, back over toward Brent. Here come the storms. Very heavy rain coming on in. Potential damaging winds. If you're seeking shelter, if you're in bed and you're watching us on TV and your bed's right next to a window, may want to move away from that as soon as these winds come in, especially if you have a lot of trees that potentially could fall and maybe fall on your home. That's what we're looking at here. A number of trees down back to the west. We've had people trapped, reports of that, across part of the area too, to the west of us here, where the storms already moved through the region. And now that they're coming into the metro area here, they're